Yeah, like I was curious, like when she starts introducing people, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Like,
well, the Bajoran character is completely new. She had a blink and you'll miss it in the previous episode, and then this is her first dialogue.
And why? Well, okay. I'll just go ahead and interject real quick. Why?
Go ahead.
Why new people? It's too late for that.
So many good ones we could be like you want.
You'll meet Detmer and Awusa later. Where the hell are they now?
I feel like the first officer is like symbolic of the producers, where he's like, you know what, you've only got 10 seconds, and I'm kicking your ass to the curb. You know, like he didn't want to give anybody the time of day, and that's how the producers have been like, nah, I don't care. Let's just get new people in here. You know,
I think he could have his beautiful mind moment. You know, like I only met you for 5 seconds, but
right.
I'm hopeful that the reason for that is that those new characters will actually be important later on in the season. That's the only thing I can figure. If they literally just did that so that we could get their names, then it really, that was pointless.
It fell flat. Yeah. I do like, I don't know. Like I know is it too late in the season or too late in the show to bring a brand new first officer in and spend time with him, that we could have been promoting another character to put in that spot? Like,
keep in mind, they didn't have a clue that they were going to be ending it when they wrote all that, when they were filming.
Right.
So,
but even to get run over.
But even at that point, though, would it have been better to promote somebody from the crew that we knew and then put somebody in their spot, like they did with Next Gen, like they did with Worf, like put Worf in Tasha's spot when she, left, but somebody that we already knew, that we didn't have to get used to a brand new character.
So I had a similar thought, and I really sat and tried to figure out, well, then who is the next best person? Because Tilly did serve as first officer for that brief stint, but she's off at the academy, and now Saru has left. So who is it who really falls best? Probably Awosha-kun?
And the one played by Tilly.
I'd say,
like,
I'd say
so much. They've both been through so much. Even the guy, Michael, I think his name.
You're gonna have to give me a little more than the guy.
The
guy. Hello.
Are you talking about Reese, the security officer? Okay.
I would.
And they're done that. They all come from the past.
I would say honestly, I think I like the idea, like the lady who is the black lady at the helm. I forget what's her name. Orochi.
Owu. Her nickname is Owu.
Owu.
Yeah, her nickname is Owu.
Remember her name.
I can't.
Her name is Awusa-kun. Owu for short.
You should be ashamed.
I should be ashamed.
Shame.
I should be ashamed. Yes, I should be ashamed.
And especially after, was it last season when they had where her and Burnham went to that planet and she had to do the whole boxing thing?
Yeah.
She's a badass bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she's a strong candidate. And I feel like the other one, the one with the Borg implant looking thing, I feel like she'd be great. Yeah. I feel like both of them are really strong. I mean, that in the third season when her and the other lady had that kind of, or not, no, it was her and Stamets kind of had the conflict of who actually got Discovery to the future, and that conflict, like the actress showed, like she's got the acting chops for it, and the character like has that conflict where, I don't know, I think as a character, I think they've earned that, and like you guys brought up last season with, like they both have just risen to the occasion. I don't think this new character is really, really needed. And I I like him as a character, but I feel like he's more appropriate for a one-off shoot. And especially in this episode, like getting to know characters that I don't really care about. To me, that was one of the few things that fell flat. I loved the Trill aspect of the character with the Doctor. I thought that was really cool.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, I actually
the main story was terrific this week.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I enjoyed. There were a few little. Obviously, I'm going to nitpick at details, but like, why point out how ginormous the planet is? You got
real quick. Can I do a nitpick real quick?
Yes, please.
Can the costume designers pick how the collar opens?
Yeah,
on the costume designers who hate us cosplayers.
That was one thing. That was one thing that I noticed because I have that uniform at home and I use them. Yeah, I've been in it with a few films myself. What's that now?
Which one? Because Reno's looks completely different.
So I have the captain's uniform, the red captain's uniform for Discovery. I have that one, and it opens from the side, and then it zips down. So yeah, I noticed the difference immediately when it opens from the middle, and I'm like, that's not how it opens. So it's if you see it on Admiral Vance's uniform, that's more appropriate for what it's supposed to be. So you can tell they've changed it slightly, but to me, it's a slight change. But yeah, it was kind of distracting for where it was. Yeah, a slight change, but a change nonetheless. That's one thing where if they make that change and say, hey, buy this new uniform, I'm not going to be going for that one because it's like they love to change things, you know.
Yeah, I like to make most of my stuff, so that's why I have a thing with the costume people, especially because my Beckett Mariner, I too have to safety pin it up because it will not stay rolled up. And my number 1 costume doesn't fit over 2 and 3. So it's always loose. So
that was great.
I'm going to stick to like just the stuff I like, my Guinan and my stuff like that. Because the Strange New Worlds ones were great. I like them. But the Discovery ones have changed every chance they've gotten.
Yeah, I was kind of like I grew to like the gray uniforms in season 3, and when all the crew was in that, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm on board. You know, it kind of reminds me too much of the motion picture, but you know what, okay, I'm on board. And then they changed it. I mean, I liked the change better to the bright red, the green, the bright red, yellow, blue. You know, but you're right, change needlessly, but change, like stop changing it. You know,
we got a good thing going. We're good.
Yeah.
We all got it. You know, most of us all have our traditional TOS. Some even have I have a scant.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just, I like the old school stuff. 7 seasons. You can go 7 seasons without changing a uniform, except for Troy, who deserved to finally get put out of the, you know.
Well, let's be fair. Voyager is the only show, well, and Enterprise, but Voyager's the only one that went 7 without ever changing uniforms.
But TOS only changed slightly, or not? I'm sorry. The Next Generation only changed slightly, in my opinion. They stuck pretty hard to the, card maneuver. Not such drastic changes like you see in Discovery. The very first episode, my friend Bonnie Morgan, is actually the very first alien that we see in Discovery.
Oh, really?
She had to fly out to Georgia, the country.
Oh, wow.
And meet Michelle Yeoh and Sonequa out, and they forgot their uniforms. So Bonnie had to transport them.
No way. Did you?
So she when I saw the little deltas, I was like, they hate us. They hate our guts. If you ever get a chance to talk to Bonnie Morgan, again, she is the first alien that we see in Discovery. She has a wonderful story about Michelle Yeoh saving her life on that set.
Wow. That sounds pretty interesting.
Fun. Yeah. So if you ever get a chance, ask for her to come to conventions. And her dad was in Star Trek too, Gary Morgan. He was Armin Shimmerman's stunt double.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of on the first Ferengi we see too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. This episode, again, I felt that there were redundancies especially with the new first officer doing his own research. Even though you've got the computer who's super smart and knows exactly what she's doing, nailing the stuff in so much real time. Maybe that's just his process.
I feel like the time with the first officer, I feel like it would be better spent on him analyzing more of, I was a captain, now I'm a first officer. How does that affect me psychologically? I like the idea of him used to being a certain way with his crew, and doing his own thing. But I don't know if it necessarily was that way in this episode, or if it came across that way. And I like him as a character, but again, we're kind of coming to the last episodes of not only the season but the show. And is this really, even if it was, continuing on, is this really the best way we want to use our time? Because it's been that way with Discovery in general. We just don't use our characters wisely. And we spend so much time with characters that we're never really going to see again. Take a look at that scientist from last season that I didn't give two shits about, and we spent so much time with him and his backstory with his. I still don't remember if it was his lover or his best friend, or because I groaned so much every time I saw him and his backstory. I didn't care, and that's kind of the way I feel with this guy. Are we going to spend time with a character that we don't care about ultimately? What do you guys think?
I don't even remember a scientist from last season.
I'm trying to think too.
That was season 3, not 4.
Was it season 3? Oh shit, you guys are right. Oh man, I'm messing my stuff together. You're right, season 3. You're right, season 3.
I mean, again, 3 and 4 though.
Yeah. You're right. It was season 4, because it was because they destroyed Booker's home and they had to go outside the galaxy to meet that giant alien thing. It was season 4. Season 4.
Was it the one played by Kenneth?
I don't know who it was played by, because he No. He hung out with Booker. No, he hung out with Booker because remember Booker left Starfleet, or he left Discovery to go hang out with this dude.
Yes.
And they did.
Yes.
He was trying to get to another universe to go be with this, like the perfect universe where there's no crime or no whatever, and the flashback, that season was kind of all over the place in storytelling, and I just didn't care about that character. I'm like, why are we spending time with this character when I still don't know shit about Reese, or I can't even remember the Helm officer's name.
You know who plays them, and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
Give us your name more often, maybe we wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
Because we do like those characters. We've been with those characters since day one.
Yeah, we have that desire of wanting to know more.
You're in 5 seasons, and we collectively cannot remember their names.
Mm-hmm.
Their characters' names. And that says something about what's being pushed on us.
Yeah.
What we're trying to absorb.
And I think that
Star Trek.
And I think that's another reason why, for the first officer, that there wasn't a promotion from within, for several reasons. One of them would be we haven't really used these characters a whole lot now. Before, why start now? Why would we give any of them the extra screen time of being first officer when we can make it yet another new character? So there's that. Let's bring in another new character. Also, I think having someone that is from the burn, from that time, from that life of Starfleet, is something that was needed, because now you've got someone on your ship who's a firm anchor in. I was in Starfleet long before you people just showed up out of nowhere.
Without warp drive.
Right, without warp drive.
In chaos and war, apparently.
Yes.
The wartime.
Yeah. So I think it was a good call.
For his experience. I get why she got him for that. I think that just from watching it for 5 seasons, it's just disappointing that some of these other characters that we've become invested in, they haven't bothered to invest in. You know what I mean? I understand where she's coming from, getting someone from that time period who's more experienced, etc. And we really don't have to spend that much time on him. We're good. Can we get to, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it's rushing. They're bragging about security on Trill. Next thing you know, she's there putting these records on people. And, you know, I'm like, look, do you see how easy it was to put a tracker on something, Michael? Did you see that? You could have just put that on the ship in the first place.
Right.
Solve a lot of these issues. But next, so, I mean, it's just, you know where they're going. They're going to go to Beta Z. I hope there's a wedding happening. And maybe this might be the time for Saru and the president to get married. You know, I'm rooting for a Betazoid wedding in one of these episodes someday. How much Star Trek do we have? And have we gotten a Betazoid wedding? We've gotten a preview
Exactly.
of a bride walking up to her groom.
Yeah, we remember that one.
But I would like to see someone not get jilted, please.
So
before we, go ahead.
So as far as that whole scene, the whole bit with Raynor and where he's interviewing everybody there in the science lab, I came up with, because it was like I said last week, I was worried that they were going to do a copy and paste from Captain Shaw, is what he felt like initially. And they have improved upon that slightly, but I figured out they should have added one line of dialogue during that whole period when he and Tilly were in the science lab. Because it's something that's bugging me about our villains, is why are they so interested in finding this?
Yeah,
if that became what Raynor was trying to do, was to figure out why is Maul and Locke so interested in finding, because they're just supposed to be like bounty hunter type of.
Yeah, they're not in it for what it is, and he's looking into what it is, the creation of I mean, okay, what I put here, Genesis Project Part 2, OG terraforming, if you will.
Right.
And that's essentially what they're looking for. And honestly, through this and through the mistakes that they're making, I can't see why they don't just let the bad guys fail the test. They wouldn't have been given access to Trill. They wouldn't have known the answer was Beta Z. You know what I mean? They're all full of points.
Right.
You know, I would have sat back and let them fail. You know what I mean? Because why is this one thing so important that we're going to stop everything else that we're doing and dealing with to go after? And I watched the episode, The Chase, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I watched that episode because I really wanted to rewatch the whole point of it. And why are we bringing this back 800 years later? So they can find the Genesis Project again? Why?
The Genesis times 2 or times 50. Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the creation of life and death. And it can be used in so many wonderful ways, but it can also be used in horrible ways, which is why I think you're right about Raynor turning out to be a fucking villain. I think he's going to truly be the villain of this series, since we don't kind of have one yet.
Really? You're thinking he's going to end up
bounty hunters? He's
going to end up being the bad guy, the antagonist?
He's the Lorca of the...
Now, wouldn't that be interesting?
It really
I mean, what's his name? Section 31 dude. I can't remember the character.
No, Leland? No, not Leland.
No, glasses.
You talking about the guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Kovich.
That's it.
He said he has a team already. So is Raynor part of that team?
Colin has a very good point. Colin Barrett made in the comments. I suspect Starfleet wants the tech because they don't trust anyone else to have it. And that's, to me, I think that is a valid reason. It's not so much that the Federation wants it because they want to create life or to do whatever. They just want it because they feel that, well, we need to keep it away from anyone else. That's why we wanted it, so that you can't have it.
Maybe they'll add it to Discovery's instinct. You know what I mean? Like put it on with Zara, and then we get Calypso. You know.
Y'all just can't give up that short trek, can you?
I love it. So
They've already said it's canon.
I don't.
They've
care.
already said it's
just,
canon.
It's the past. It's the past. Let it go.
Let it go, Elsa.
So before we continue on, let's go through. I'm going to go through some of the comments already. So Jim's Landscape says hello, and to that we say hello, Jim's Landscape. Thank you for coming. And JD welcomed him. Says hey, Jim, you're having a good week. Eric Madsen says hello to all here gathered here at this round table. We say hello, Eric. Welcome. Colin Barrett, who joins us quite often, says evening, everyone, and then goes on to say, I want to get to the ISS Enterprise episode. And actually, a rumor that's been going around says that people think that it's the USS Defiant, which I think is kind of interesting. I think it's an interesting theory, and that's something I think we may talk about tonight, later on, after we are done discussing this episode. And then going on, he says, what BigJ said earlier, he suspects that Starfleet wants the tech because they don't trust anyone else to have it, which we kind of all agree with. Jack Canary Biggins says, so much for Trill security, hee.
Top men. It's being guarded by top men. That's what I think of when I see that.
And JM says, does that live up to the values of Star Trek?
What? Getting the technology, hiding it on Discovery?
Yeah, JM, can you be a little bit more specific with your question? I'm a little confused. Be a little bit more specific with your question.
Or seeking out the whole thing.
Colin says, actually, the nebula that the ISS Enterprise is drifting in looks a lot like the one from Calypso. And yeah. Colin says, I saw a screenshot which shows NCC 1701 registry. Oh, shit. See, I haven't seen that. So, okay, well, that's news to me. So, wow. That's
See, I don't watch the previews, so that's why.
Yeah, I don't watch the coming up next. I don't watch trailers.
I like to be surprised week in and week out. Although, just because it's impossible to avoid everything.
Right.
I am aware there is a screenshot I saw from the trailer that is a quick glimpse of what appears to be a Constitution class starship coming out of something. So,
well, I know that I going from the inside though, I do think it's from the Mirror Universe because you do see, Colin just says the Terran Empire insignia can be seen from the sickbay scene, and that was what I was about to bring up. You can see the Terran Empire logo when they're having the shootout in sickbay, and the sickbay they use is the Strange New World set. So it's something. I'm either way, I'm excited for it because it's one of those things where it's kind of crossing over with stuff that we've already seen. And I think every Mirror Universe episode, even if it's been not as good as others, has always been a real treat. So I'm excited to go back to Mirror Universe stuff. Jack and Harry Biggins says, I heard that too. It's the Defiant Constellation class from the TOS Mirror episode. I think it'd be Constitution class. I don't know if Colin says he saw a screenshot of the 1701 registry, that might change things. I don't know, man. I'm excited either way. I know sometimes they put stuff in trailers to kind of throw people off, so we'll see. I personally think it would be cool to go back to the Defiant and see what happened there. We'll see how they make that whole thing come out.
Well, we already know the fate of the Defiant.
Yeah, the Defiant went on Enterprise, the show Enterprise.
Yeah.
When the Defiant disappeared in TOS, what Enterprise did with that explanation was they said that the Defiant not only traversed to the Mirror Universe, but also to the past.
Back in time. Yeah.
Also back in time. And so the Defiant ended up being confiscated by the Terran Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yes.
Was that
but then at the end of it, the Terran Empire had possession of it, and then that was that.
What war was that?
That was in the episodes In a Mirror Darkly, part 1 and 2.
Because they mentioned why they didn't release like information because I guess the Dominican War,
Dominion.
Dominion War.
Dominion War.
So I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with the Defiant being in the mirror universe. Did that happen during the Dominion?
No,
The other
it's the other Constitution class Defiant from TOS.
Okay.
The one that disappeared in the Tholian web and then shows back up in A Mirror Darkly back 100 years prior in the mirror universe. So it's easy to get confused that way because it's a bunch of what.
Yeah.
So
well, they throw a lot of stuff. Like I was kind of over the Earthling sayings. It was too much. You know, it was just too much for me. A lot of it feels like a waste of time. Like they're just trying to fill minutes. You know, when they could really be focusing on Star Trek.
how did you guys feel about the relationship with Gray and I forget the other one's name.
Blue? No? Is that their name in real life?
Blue is the name in real life. Blue Del Barrio.
I am
Okay.
so horrible at stage names. I
So
like the people. I like the actors. That was the worst breakup I've ever seen in my entire life. That was my heart hurt. That breakup was so bad. I mean, they literally were one. You know what I mean? Like we're literally one. And I can't imagine that they'd have issue being long distance. I just don't. I mean, I can understand that because they used to be one and now they're long distance. But there was really no explanation given. I don't know, has the one who stayed on Trill, have they moved on? You know, are they just so hyper focused on becoming whatever it is that they're doing there?
here's my thing about that. So this episode tried to do a whole lot of character stuff to them. It was the fact that for last season did virtually nothing with their characters. Like they did so much with their characters in season 3. Then it left, and that was they haven't done crap with the two of them since then. And I kind of felt that's why to me
their solution is to just break up. Fuck it, we'll just break them up. Who cares? As long as they're not together, we don't have to care about the relationship anymore.
Wrote themselves into a line that they had blocked them into.
My heart.
I get it.
I'll be honest. I don't think it was a bad breakup. I think I was apathetic to the whole thing. I didn't care for the relationship after. Like I enjoyed when they were one because I thought, okay, this is interesting. I'm curious to see where it goes. Once they split apart and did whatever, like I enjoyed the dynamic between Stamets and what's his husband's name?
Culber.
Yeah.
Culber.
Again, forgive me if I butcher names here. I'm terrible with them, but I enjoyed the dynamic between those 4 characters because I felt there was a great generational gap and something you could learn from. Hey, they've come before us and we're coming up, and I liked that. But for this, I think JD's right. There's been so long between the time we've even seen anything between these two characters that I didn't give a shit. And when they broke up, it's like, man, this could have been done off screen and we could have spent time with characters that I wanted to.
It was a horrible breakup. It absolutely was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Need to see that ever. And honestly, the fact that she's bummed out, they are bummed out, and talking to Jet Reno about the whole, like, I'm really apprehensive about meeting my mate, you know, like, I've got these things. That's a conversation she should be having or they should be having with their father, with Stamets. He is oblivious to the fact that they're going to come back heartbroken, that they're going to come back and be like, oh, I said hi for you while we broke up, you know?
Right.
And he's not going to have any concept of I think the parent to have gone to in this would have been Colbert. I think he would have been the parent to confide in their
Yeah, he's got
them for the first time in 6 months.
yeah, he's got that wisdom there where, if it's not the right thing to go forward or long distance relationship or something, like he's got that wisdom, not Reno. Like I love Reno. She's one of my favorite characters, but I don't know if it's appropriate here. And for a relationship that we've seen so off screen, I mean, that's like saying, hey, do we want another episode with Pulaski and Data? It's like, we didn't ask for that in season 7 of Next Gen. Who gives a shit? Like, keep Pulaski away. She's a jerk. Like, I didn't ask for this. I don't want it. I know there are people out there.
No, she wasn't.
Fair enough, JD.
I don't think we needed to include it at all. I don't think it could have been in the storyline at all. We could have just gone on. She could have been like, yo, what's up? And they could have, gone off and said their highs and visiting my boyfriend. And I don't think we really needed to see any of it. I think it was completely unnecessary. I hated the breakup. I hated everything about it.
Jackanary Biggins brings up a really good idea, and I love this here. I really thought Adria. There you go. God dang it, I suck. Was going to become the temporary host in this episode and didn't expect it to be Hugh. It made more sense. Doctor was there to support. No, and I agree with that. Like, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that till now. You're right. It would have made more sense because they've been the host before, adapted. Like, it would have made more sense. Although I enjoyed it being Hugh. I enjoyed the take on the Trill. It seemed to really make him express himself as a different character. It would have been more appropriate for it to be Adira. I got it right. Yes, I feel like dude.
It might have been silly for the line. This guy really works out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I live much
from an acting standpoint, I would rip that. But from a in-universe standpoint, they say that no one who has symbiote can do the mind thing. Adira used to carry it. They no longer do that at all. So as far as in universe, there's actually a deer could not do that.
Am I the only one he's breaking up for?
No, yeah. Sorry, JD, you're breaking up a lot there on your connection. I think I caught the gist a little bit of what you're saying. Could you try repeating it again?
Okay, I was that the like Trill priest guy made the statement that no one who had carried a symbiote could actually do the ceremony, and had symbiote. That meant that they were no longer eligible for being a part of the ceremony.
Gotcha.
I felt they picked the right character. I felt they picked the right actor.
Oh yeah, yeah. From an acting standpoint, he was amazing.
It was amazing. It was brilliant. I love that. I think that he felt like he got to let loose a little bit, and a character who's normally very stoic and serious and that kind of stuff. Oh, I really enjoyed that part. And I liked the playfulness of it. Mothra was predictable. Let's see.
That was cool though.
Thank goodness she's a xenoanthropologist. And thank goodness he can talk to animals.
Isn't that convenient?
Right.
Like that
was super convenient.
No, I guess it's Jesse who talks to the animals. But that was just super convenient. And I like how all of a sudden they're so time crunched. Right? Heaven forbid you just take pictures of things and run. Do we not have personal cloaking devices in the future? Because I feel like we do.
We should.
No, just instant transporters. That's all. I mean, we can't get that cloaking device going. That's not it.
I mean, every time I go to the Renaissance Fair dressed in my Starfleet uniforms, I always just complain that my personal cloaking device must have failed. Oh God!
Well,
How do we not?
No, remember, Locke and Maul actually do have personal cloaking devices. We saw those in the first episode. So apparently, Starfleet just doesn't have them yet.
Yeah, and even if Locke and Maul had gotten to the point of knowing there are 4 points, then they would have treated the Mothras horribly and killed them. And then what's the troll going to be like? Nah, I'm not going to give you this piece. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I don't think he would have because he asked the question like, what, do you still believe in peace? And they're like, yes. And if they had killed them, that would have really gone against the idea of peace. You find a way to make it work. And I think he really was testing them. And if the idea of, hey, this is a universal shattering piece of technology here that goes way beyond my personal beliefs, like this is a test that you have to pass, we can't make it easy. I think, I think he's serious. I would have let you die if you would have died, or if you had killed them, I wouldn't have given you shit. You just would have gone on with the belief of, it's not there.
It has to be a little more complex than which chalice did Jesus drink out of?
He chose
poorly.
Again, poorly. Again, why not let them fail at it? I would let them fail at it, honestly, at this point. But it's just,
I need an explanation why they even care, but
yeah, again, even Burnham is exhibiting this haste, this anxiousness at finding this answer, solving this puzzle, this mystery. And it's too fast for me. Like, it's making my stomach hurt. That she just absolutely has to break fucking down.
Except that they actually did kind of slow down this episode. I mean, at the end, she was even like kicked back in her chair, and like we have to wait on the diplomats to get the clearance or whatever.
Yeah, but in the moment,
yeah.
But then when she resolved to okay, we're gonna have to come back in the morning,
yeah,
beam the fuck out of here.
Well, there's certainly a sense.
Sort of but then there was still a haste to it. Then
there's a sense of urgency with this thing. I mean, there is, which can certainly be stressful, but this is the kind of technology that they have to get to at breakneck speed.
I hope
it might be. It might be a little different if they weren't. If this item wasn't already being chased, regardless of whether they know what planet. Like, it's being hunted by 2 other people, so it's imperative that they get to it as soon as possible, and it becomes in their possession, because they know that, hey, we're ahead of the curve right now, but if they go to the planet and they find the same thing we know, then they're going to be here soon, so we need to get this as soon as possible. So there is a certain level of time crunch to this, and I mean, so it is there needs to be a little pep in their step. But here's a slower part of the episode that I enjoyed. The Saru and Vulcan lady, I forget her name.
Serena.
There you go. I need to spend 5 years with these people before I know her name. What did you guys think of that whole arc? Because I enjoyed that a lot when the Vulcan lady's like, "Hey, bub, stop trying to protect me. I don't need your."
They got in a fight.
Yeah.
Well, first off, to go back to last week's conversation, I'm glad to know there are still a few asshole Vulcans out there.
Oh, the helper guy?
Yes. I was.
Dude, he was such a douchebag. I loved it because it was. I really thought, are you evil? Are you? Come on, please be a bigger bag, because you're just dripping with ooze, man. You're such a creep.
He's got resting Vulcan face. It's perfect. Perfect.
I'm stealing that one.
Resting Vulcan.
Yeah, I think, me personally, I'm glad that they had a little disagreement there, because I like to see some dynamics shown of what any typical couple goes through. There's going to be some disagreements and some arguing and some fighting, that this is their first one before getting married is kind of, if this is implied that it's their first one, I'm kind of surprised. I would have thought that, hey, sure, I'm sure there are perfect couples out there that never fight, never get in an argument or disagreement, but I'm glad that these two characters are being depicted as, well, they have their flaws too, and they can have just the same kind of disagreements or quote unquote fights as any other couple could.
I heard something once in relationships, it's not if you fight, it's how you fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I've got my best friend and his wife who have, as far as I'm concerned, even up to their wedding, all the stuff, they had never had a fight, right? But when you're around them, there's a little tense. So I think that honestly, if couples or any relationship, friendships, relationships, any of that kind of stuff, it's how you fight.
Yeah.
They fought well. She had a point. He learned from it. You know what I mean? She set a boundary, essentially.
Well, it wasn't.
And he, to kind of take back the, like, overprotective, I need to protect everyone mode.
Well, it was two people talking to each other, not talking at each other with their points. Like they were discussing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How they thought.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a big difference in relationships.
Well, it helps because they're both vegans who don't feel like they have to tell everybody about it.
We don't know what happens in the mess hall. We have no idea. Oh God, don't just move your tacos. Just move your tacos. They're gonna make a point of it. So we don't know what they're like in the mess hall. We don't see that part.
So Colin Barrett says Vulcan Puritans are still a thing also, even after 1,000 years of Federation membership, reunification, the burn. Those Puritans sure are determined, LOL. And then Jack Honorary Biggins says, could they be setting up the Vulcan purists to stop Discovery getting the technology? Would give through some conflict here. And no, I agree. I think
why keep bringing it up?
Mikki brought up a good point earlier, where something I hadn't considered of the XO being the big bad, and you bringing this point up of the Vulcan purists also kind of hindering this discovery, no pun intended. Like, it really does make you look at things from a different perspective of there could potentially be a lot of different people with a lot of different invested interests in stopping this, what could be considered an ultimate weapon. It kind of makes you a lot more paranoid than just the two, Lol and Mag, or whatever their two names are. Fuck, dude, I'm never gonna get these damn names. I need to put Google up here and just
down the
fucking
names.
I'm gonna make you a spreadsheet to print out.
I'm gonna write it on my arm and fucking.
You're already picking up for the girl and Booker, who have history now, that when it comes down to it, and if he has to eliminate her or blow up their ship or whatever, he's not going to do it. We've already figured this out. He's just not set up too much. Why keep bringing up the Vulcan Puritans? If you're not going to, that's what they are, right? If you're not going to use them in some capacity. There's got to be a reason why they're so overly concerned about this faction that could very well. I mean, look what happened in the original episode that they're basing all this off of. There were the Cardassians got in on it, right? Trying to keep up. You got the Romulans show up in the end there, like, we were cloaked the whole time.
One thing.
Really, what Discovery should be doing is just cloaking the whole time. But
one thing I would like to see, and maybe we'll finally get an answer, with us seeing at some future point, whether it's the ISS Discovery or ISS Enterprise or USS Discovery, or not ISS, ISS Defiant or USS Defiant or whatever. Whatever the Constitution class ship is, knowing that it's going to be some type of mirror universe involvement. Are we going to finally see, like, what created this mirror universe? given the fact that we're seeing the creation of creation on some point with the progenitors. Is that going to be finally delved into?
Maybe that's where they're hiding it ultimately, is in the mirror universe. Why not? Who says we're prime? Who says we're the number? Who said we're there? We are one of many. Did y'all watch Sliders?
Yeah.
Yep. Love Sliders.
Just because we happen to have a mirror universe that's very, very, very mirror similar to ours, except we all have goatees and are evil. You know, like that doesn't mean there aren't many multiverses. Why not? If you are the creators of all and everything, like they're alluding that these guys are, which is why they brought, our civilization has, evolved so far, so we spread our seed across the universe. You would think that the technology to do that, why not hide it in a mirror universe? Why not hide it in an alternative universe?
Well, and
universe might be an alternative universe.
Well, and what better person to oversee the progenitors' technology than Michael Burnham?
Really? You think so?
No.
No
you
way.
said
This
that,
is
and I
too
was
big
just
for
like,
her.
I need you to give me something more, man.
Because she'll catch every break and she'll get everything back. And I can't stand how they're portraying her and Booker's relationship right now. It's as if they never dated. Okay, wait, is it after 3 or is it on 3? Like, they didn't date for how long? They don't know.
Yeah, they used to be so in sync, and now it's like they can't. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I liked this episode a lot, but it wasn't. Let's go ahead and end on this.
Okay.
Real quick, Matt Arnold says hello, and hello to you too, buddy. So let's end on this, because we've been here almost an hour. Do we feel like this episode, like, one, did we enjoy this episode overall, and do we feel like this episode was better or worse than last week's episodes? Mikki, let's go with you first. Let's go clockwise.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I did think that they wasted a lot of time. I think they could have filled a lot of that time with more important things, just other things. But I did like it a lot better than the first 2.
JD, what about you, brother?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, they needed to clarify some of the steps that they were doing in the middle there, but mostly it was very good. And as far as compared to the previous 2 episodes, like I said earlier, because this one actually slowed down compared to the high, rapid fire pace of previous 2 episodes, it's hardly comparable. But to me, it's still very good. But it's better because of the fact that we needed a break. It was one of the things I liked about Deep Space Nine back in the day, is they would do 2-3 episodes of the war that would just get crazy, and then they'd be like, "Hey, now we're gonna have everybody play baseball and relax first episode," So the fact that this episode slowed down, I actually like that a lot.
Right on, man. BigJ, what about you, brother?
I'm okay with the episode. I really think that the whole thing between Adira and Gray, I just feel like, why bring this back? Do we need to?
Now we're sad.
Do we need to delve into this more? But it is what it is. This is the time to tie up loose ends and loose storylines. So we're going to be seeing that throughout the season. I think that this was a perfect example of, here's something that we kind of left dangling 2 seasons ago, and let's bring it back and finish it up. I just hope they don't spend a lot of time on it. Like, I don't want that C story to be something that carries through the whole season. Like, let's call it a wrap and be done with it. The B plot of Saru and Tarina, I think that's I'm good with that. I do have a feeling that the B plot with them will somehow play into the A plot of the chase somehow. I hope it's not with the Vulcan purists. I as soon as you said that, my first thought was, oh God, no, please let's keep Vulcan fanatics away from being the quote unquote villain or the big bad. I like the idea of the first officer of Rayner possibly being a turnabout intruder, for lack of a better phrase. All in all, I was good with the episode. I thought it was fine. I could kind of see the you're being tested coming a mile away with the Mothras. But
well, but Big J, what if the Vulcan Puritans decide to have an insurrection on the Federation?
I think it's been done. I feel like
a movie called Insurrection.
And I
chose my words. I chose my words.
And I think I brought this. Yep, I brought this up last week. I believe is that I am done with anti-Federation storyline and anti-Federation plot. That doesn't need to be a thing again. We've seen it enough. We've seen it plenty. It would really be disappointing if somehow this whole thing just devolved into a we're against the Federation reforming kind of thing. Yeah. So let's hope it doesn't go there.
It worked until it didn't, and we can work again. Right. Well, how many years? 800 years? Or when was the burn? Whatever, stupid burn.
Well, I don't know. The Federation was kind of getting it was kind of getting too big for its britches, according to some of the people. So I mean, it's one of those things where they can restart and try to make it go. So for me, you guys bring up a lot of good points. I enjoyed the fact that it slowed down. Mm-hmm. What it did right for me. I loved the Dr. Trill stuff. I thought it was very charming. I enjoyed the Saru Vulcan lady thing. I thought that was very charming.
She's a
yeah. See, I got to choose my Vulcan president. Yeah, see, I gotta hide the fact that I don't remember names, because I haven't put it on my arm yet. Next week I'm gonna be like, I gotta hide the fact that let me just yawn. It's on my arm. Yeah. But if they had just had like 1 minute scene where they talk while they're doing this, Gray and Adira, where they break up, they're like, look, it's just not gonna work. Okay, hug it out and go on their way. Like I know there are people that are invested in that relationship. I'm not. And I didn't care. And to me, I felt like it was
wanted to be.
Yeah, I did too. But it's too late for that.
Happily ever after for all I cared.
Yeah, to me, it's if you had spent time with these characters, then I would have been. But you didn't. And it's kind of like talking about Michael Burnham with that Klingon dude from season 2. And be like, well, what about their feelings? It's like, who the fuck cares at this point? Like, come on, man. And it's just one of those things where it's like, because you have not spent the time that you needed to with these characters, you now expect me to care. And I did not enjoy that aspect. And you spent way too long with characters that I honestly don't care about. And I feel with Adira, you brought them on for the reason in season 3 to be the Trill Passer-oner. And once they got past that story, there was nothing left to do with them. And I felt like that was a real missed opportunity because I was excited to see their life in Starfleet. And you really haven't done much with them. And I feel like that's a missed opportunity. And to me, I don't want to see that relationship. I want to see the character. I want to see what they can do in Starfleet. I want to see them excel like Michael Burnham has, like Tilly has, like show them and just have them focus on a relationship that we never got to see, that we never really focus on. And with a limited capacity, it's like, I don't fucking care. So to me, I felt like this episode was a step down because although it had a lot of charm, they focused on a lot of things that I did not care about. So on that, I look forward to next week and seeing what they have in store. So on that, guys, I think we're going to cut it here and see you guys next week. Does that sound good with you guys? All right.
Sounds good to
So
me.
everybody in the audience, thank you for joining us. You guys, thank you. With that being said, be genuine, be safe, and keep on geeking on, guys.